Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today I want to go over some books that I hope to get to in this spring season, hopefully. So I'm hoping with more warm weather now that spring has finally arrived, and with that I just changed my moods in reading, and I've got some books here that I hope to get to over this course of spring. I really want to do this seasonal TBR for kind of like all the different seasons. I feel like a lot of other booktubers do that, so you've probably seen a lot of other videos already about their spring books that they want to get to. But I feel like each book has its own vibe, and it's perfect for the right season or just a certain time in general. So I feel like these books that I picked out are kind of essentially perfect for spring in my eyes, and they kind of are branches of different genres, and there's some series that I hope to get to. So I mean, it's just got it all. So I just want to go over them real quickly. They got some new releases. We got it all, so tune in. Before I jump into these books, I quickly want to explain my reasoning for kind of choosing some of these books. When I think of spring, I think of growth and kind of just learning a little bit. So I kind of included a little bit more historical fiction, but I mean, there's still fantasy and all that's other kind of genres, so that'll be kind of what influenced me in some of these picks. But I'm just going to jump right into that first one. This first pick was solely based on the cover, and that was Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. And I don't know if it was because of the river and kind of the growth of the vines and just the kind of all the different floral and stuff like that. I think that is what I initially thought of spring, is because of just this river. Other than that, like, the cover stuck out to me as just being spring. But after my initial thoughts, I immediately had to kind of read the background, and that intrigued me because it's said to kind of combine myth, legend, and folktale all packed into this little story. And it's kind of following this girl who mysteriously shows up at this inn. Nobody knows who she is, and she's not breathing or living at all. And then all of a sudden, she is revived, and the whole mystery of the whole book follows these kind of people that have lived in this quiet town trying to uncover the mystery behind this girl. And it's told to be very heartwarming and just kind of a good literacy fiction to kind of pick up in your lifetime. I've also heard several other booktubers praise about this, so let's hope we can get to it. I can get to it in the spring months. This next one I really wanted to get to a couple months ago, but I sadly couldn't get to it. But I thought I just could pick it up later on in spring. I don't know why, but when I think of just spring, I also think of like Paris for some reason. And that kind of inspired me to pick this book up, and that is The Paris Hours by Alex George. This is another book with quite the plot. This is following several different perspectives of these kind of different creators of sorts. There's like artists, musicians, and just a whole wide range of different characters kind of living in Paris, and they're all facing a different predicament, and they have to solve that predicament in one day. Yes, one day in Paris. And so I mean, that's all I really got to know, is it's taking place in Paris, and it follows several different characters all facing a challenge somehow. So really good time. So I mean, doesn't that just drag you in and want to read? It's just, and it also takes place immediately kind of following a little bit post-World War, so I'm interested to see how that will kind of impact these characters. Maybe they've served or they've been impacted by the war somehow, so I'm interested to see how that will play a role as well. It also seems like somewhat of a thriller, because if they don't accomplish these kind of overcoming these predicaments, like, what are the consequences? So another great book to get to this spring. This next pick is extremely popular, and I don't know why I picked it for spring, but it just felt like, to me, when I first looked at like all my list of books, I felt like this one was perfect for spring for some reason. I can't explain my reasoning for some reason, But that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like I mentioned, this is pretty popular, and I think my reasoning, I've kind of pondered on it a little bit, and I think that I just have, the reasoning behind me choosing this was because of fear of missing out. So, because it's been so popular and everybody praises about it, I figured no better time to just get to it than right now. All I know about this is it's following a legendary Hollywood star and her tales of living and kind of having 7 different husbands and how that kind of impacted her kind of career. So we'll see how that plays out, but overall I'm excited for it. Time to get into a little bit of fantasy, and this next pick is by an author that I discovered a couple months ago. Or not a couple months ago, like a month ago. I'm already losing track of time. Like, what's going on here? 2021 has already got me going crazy. But this is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. And I think this is another one based on the cover. And I think it's got some spring colors a little bit. It's got a little bit of green and yellow mix. And kind of like an ugly yellow. But it's got like these little roots that are growing. So, I mean, growing, that's what we do in spring. A couple months ago. I keep saying a couple months ago. But about a month ago, I read Spinning Silver by her. And I felt like that was just the perfect winter book, so I'm just going to trust my gut and say that this is kind of the similar, and this will be a spring book. So hopefully my gut kind of doesn't lead me astray. I am a bit scared though, because I've heard that this one is not one of her popular ones, so fingers crossed. I'm hoping that I'll love it. I mean, the only thing I know about it is it's following a wizard that can somehow turn into a dragon. I mean, if I had that, I would be set for life. I would not need anything else in life. Be a wizard and turn into a dragon? What else do you need? I mean, come on. Tell me. If you think of anything else, just let me know, because I can't. Since I love history, and I figured since spring is all about growing, I thought I'd pick up a historical fiction that really intrigued me, and that was A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. Like I mentioned, I happen to absolutely love history, and this one follows a period that I'm really interested about, and that was really kind of right after the Russian Revolution and how it impacted it. And this man is essentially in a pretty big predicament. But this is following a Count Alexander Rotzlaff who is deemed an unrepentant aristocrat by a Bolshevik tribunal, and because of that, he is sentenced to house arrest in this famous hotel right across the street from the Kremlin, and from there he kind of just watches the kind of events that take place after the revolution and how it impacted and shaped Russia as we see it today. Or not today, because they've changed quite a bit since then. But he is essentially just chilling in this famous like luxury hotel, just kind of watching everything unfold. So I've heard that it's more than a historical fiction, that it really has a great cast of different characters and some humor and just really hard-hitting kind of points throughout the story as he kind of discovers who he is and has to learn more about from his situation. So I'm hoping that I can learn from this. Another one that has been picking up a lot of speed, and I have some FOMO here, and that is Chlora in the Sun, which I can't pronounce the author very well, but I'll make sure to kind of leave a little kind of text somewhere around here. From what I've gathered from several other booktubers have talked about, this is following Klara, who is an artificial intelligence who kind of has these excellent observation abilities, and she is kind of staying in the store, or stuck in the store, and just watches as other humans kind of walk by and are kind of just living their everyday's life, and it's kind of her perspective on how she views that. And I've heard that it's very heartwarming and just will really hit you in the feels, and so I'm hoping that I can get that, because I don't cry very much in books, and I've been on the hunt for some books that'll make me cry, so maybe this one will do it. If you've heard anything about it or if you read it, please let me know your thoughts below, because I really want to get to it soon. Hopefully Hopefully it will become available at my library so I can get to it as soon as possible before I hear any spoilers or more talk about it, because I really just want to go in blind for it. This next is a big old chunk of series that I really want to just start this spring, and it needs no explanation because it is the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. I have sadly never read any of the books. I know that's just a sin for booktube, but I have finally got them, and I'm going to start them in this month, in the spring. I already set them out in my TBR, so I'm gonna get to them. I want to get your thoughts on whether I should just kind of read the whole book series before I watch the movies, because I haven't seen any of the movies either. I don't know how I haven't seen any of them, but I haven't. So should I just read the whole book series and then watch the movies, or should I kind of read a book and then watch a movie and kind of do that throughout the whole series? So if you have an opinion on that, please let me know. Now, springtime is also the time to be transported somewhere, and I think this duology is going to be perfect for that, and that is the Girl from Everywhere duology by Heidi Heilig. Please correct me if I'm saying that wrong. From what I gathered on the back, this ship that Nyx kind of travels on is essentially the Magic School Bus version, because it can go through through myth, legend, folktale, past in centuries. Just it can do it all. It's the Magic School Bus version of a ship, and I absolutely love the Magic School Bus. So to have kind of like this pirate ship that can do more than the kind of the Magic School Bus, essentially, because it can go back in between myth. So we'll see where that goes. This is following the travels of Nyx and her father as they just have a great time on this mystical ship. And her father is obsessed with this one map that will take him back to the time before Nyx's mother dies. But should he find it, it might erase Nyx in general. Just erase her from the time continuum. So I'm interested to see how that will kind of play out, whether she will kind of help her father kind of find joy again and erase herself from the universe, or kind of I don't know what she'll do. Will she kind of like work against him to I just don't know. I'm just interested to see how that'll play out. This is also a series that I really wanted to get to this year, so spring is the perfect time to be transported, and since this can go back in time through myth and through it all, I'm gonna pick it up this spring. Those are all my picks for springtime. Let me know any of yours that you plan on reading this spring. Also, let me know any of your thoughts on any of these picks that I've selected. I'll make sure to leave some links to some other videos that I recommend you check out. If you want to connect with me on social media, I'll make sure to leave those down below as well. I hope you all have a splendid day, and as Ellie always says, adventure is out there, so I'm going to catch you next time. Bye.